Jamaica's greatest son. Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr., by all accounts an exemplary figure, whose Pan-African vision was ahead of its times for its arguably black separatist paradigm. Born in Jamaica, 17th August 1887, Marcus was one of his parents' 11. Sadly, 9 of them did not survive. Only Marcus Jr. and his big sister thrived. Sarah Jane Richards, Marcus's mother, a beautiful woman and a domestic worker. His father, a hard-working and stern mason, like his wife, had great hopes for his studious son. A childhood memory shaped Marcus's thoughts, an event that would leave him very distraught. It is said his father put him at the bottom of a grave, not because he had misbehaved, no, to train his son to be independent and rely on no one in order to ascend. Another story claims when Marcus was young, Joyce Reary, a white girl, was one of his favourite chums. They spent endless hours of play on the beach, where Marcus would test her diction and teach. Then as a teen she returned to England for boarding school, and her parents introduced a colour bar rule. "Joyce, it's time for your ties with Marcus to end. He's black and an N and cannot be your friend." As you can imagine, Marcus was at first very hurt. No white person would ever get close. No, he was not dirt. Garvey's parents were respected intellectuals, but hard times meant their children quit school. By 14, he sought a lucrative job. He intended to make money, not just a few bob. All in Jamaica knew of Garvey by 1910, now an accomplished printer, writer and politician. He decided to join the National Club, Jamaica's first anti-colonialist hub, because his country, Jamaica, was full of inequality and hatred for the black man especially. So unsurprisingly, he chose to leave his beloved country to see if blacks in various lands were dealt a similar discriminatory hand. In Central America, Garvey was far from impressed. "My people, look at them. They're so oppressed." While journeying around across the seas, he experienced the same condition to a profound degree. He wondered whether UK would be the same, so he took off there to up his game. In England, Garvey was pleasantly surprised. "Here, my people, them live better lives." Blacks and whites did not live apart, and many Anglo folk had good hearts. Garvey took courses at Birkbeck College to gain more specialist knowledge, though he preferred to study on his own, following black leaders, visiting cultural heritage zones. During Garvey's UK stay, his ideas nourished, because in England Pan-African flourished. People of colour unified against imperialism. This was exactly Garvey's realism. In 1914, Garvey returned to Jamaica, where he found UNIA, the United Negro Improvement Association, to support descended Africans in every nation. Central to Garvey's ideology was to unite the black race unapologetically and create educational opportunities, not to forget business and media autonomies. In 1916, Garvey moved to the States, where his Back to Africa idea would dominate. There he also set up the Black Star Line, a shipping company which made headlines. Back to Africa wasn't necessarily just a physical move, but intended to protect blacks everywhere against imperial rule. While in the States, Garvey generated various enterprises, including a chain of restaurants, publishing houses, and a doll factory. In New York, he owned several properties and a fleet of trucks with thousands working for his businesses. Of course, Garvey had his enemies, including FBI head, who resented him, and W.E.B. Du Bois, an integrationist, for Garvey's black racial purity stance he did dismiss. Garvey was eventually set up to fail. Thanks to Hoover's spies, he ended up in a US jail for fraud for which he did not commit. For his followers protested and shouted, "I'll quit!" Released from prison, a dejected man, Garvey was forced to return to his homeland. Eventually he came back to the UK, where in 1940 he sadly passed away. We must not forget Garvey's powerful first and second wives. Thanks to Amy Ashwood Garvey, and especially Amy Jacks Garvey, his ideas survived, and his legacy lives on for generations to come. Jamaica's greatest hero and favourite son. Thanks to Garvey, we have millions of Garveyites internationally consolidating his visionary insights. For example, Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, Jomo Kenyatta, Martin Luther King, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Steve Biko, Fela Kuti, Amy Jacks Garvey, Henrietta Linton Davis, Angela Davis, Muhammad Ali, Frantz Fanon, Ho Chi Minh, Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela, Jesse Jackson, the Rastafarian movement, Bob Marley, Claudia Jones, Bernie Grant, Diane Abbott, Paul Boateng, Jessica Huntley, Erica Huntley, Lucky Dube, Garnet Silk, Peter Tosh, Culture, and many, many more. Not forgetting my own father, Solomon Andor Quantsa, who worked on Ghana's second Black Star Line, a navigator and radio officer who was so divine. Of course, I must not forget Brother Casamaba, an inspirational mentor and media teacher. A filmmaker. Thanks to you, I'm looking for Garvey in London's past. Your film will ensure his legacy lasts. Look for me in a whirlwind, Garvey once decried. 70 years after death, his ideas powerfully thrive. A black Messiah for many, ahead of your times, fighting for black liberty, freedom and equality. You remain forever enshrined. Akuba, 4th of October 2018 for National Poetry Day.